What's up, guys? So Jaguars training camp is about 1 week in the books. So let's go ahead and talk about really just a bunch of takeaways from what's been going on the last week. Now, full disclosure, it kind of stinks because I am not able to actually go to the Jaguars practices. First of all, I live in Orlando, and second of all, I have a full-time job, so I'm not able to get out there on these obscure days, on these Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday mornings, you know what I mean, and get after it. However, I'm going to let you guys know kind of my takeaways from what I'm hearing about in the media because Jaguars media, all of our guys do a really good job of kind of keeping us up to date and letting us know what's going on in practice. And of course, there's a bunch of great coverage out there. But, with all that said, I'm a fan, giving you guys a fan perspective, and that's what we do around here, okay? Now, I will say I will be at one Jaguar practice, okay? I'll be at the Jaguars practice on Wednesday, August 14th, when the Jaguars are hosting a joint practice against the Buccaneers. And look, if you guys go to any joint or any training camp practice or anything this offseason, or this preseason, those are the two practices to go to. Okay. The Jaguars have two joint practices against the Buccaneers, at the Miller Electric Center in Jacksonville. The first time they're hosting that since I think it's been like probably 2016 or so, back when Blake Bortles was leading the charge. The Jaguars, of course, haven't had the updated facilities, and they've been going to different places. Like I think they went to Atlanta, they went to Detroit last offseason, but this time we are here in Jacksonville, and those practices are the best because look, now we don't have to have this pendulum of offense versus defense. We actually have we can see the Jaguars going against another team, so we want the defense and offense to dominate, as opposed to saying, oh, well, offense was bad, but the defense was great, and kind of vice versa. So those are the good ones to go through. Everything is controlled. We get to see guys like, Tyson Campbell going against Mike Evans, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's the one I'm going to. And look, if you guys have an extra ticket, hit me up because I'm trying to get my brother in. And if you guys will be there, let me know. I'd love to meet you guys. Theme of the Jaguars practice lately has been really just the defense has been the overwhelming favorite, okay, especially at the start of the training camp. And with that said, Trevor Lawrence is throwing a bunch of picks. Brian Thomas Jr. was a little bit slow to get started. And when you look at the practices, the Jaguars practice every day from Wednesday through Saturday. They took a break on Sunday, and they got right back after it on Monday and Tuesday. And, the first 4 days were defensive heavy. Okay, like I was saying, the defense was, really the overriding favorite. But these last 2 days has been really heavily, favored on offense. And Tuesday was actually the first day of pads for the Jaguars. And, Trevor Lawrence, by the way, Trevor Lawrence is looking like a complete beast right now. I saw a picture up on Twitter today. I mean, this guy looks jacked right now. So that's good to see that he really took this offseason to put some work on getting a little bit thicker. But Trevor Lawrence today, 16 for 17, even threw a touchdown pass to Brian Thomas Jr. Look, this is the form that I definitely expect to see Trevor Lawrence in. And I expect to see him really continue to, do his thing really throughout training camp and hopefully into the preseason. But now that the pads are on, the big focus will, at first focus without pads, it's on like wide receiver, cornerbacks, and of course the quarterbacks. But now we can kind of take a look at the offensive line versus defensive line. And, I think each of them are intriguing in their own ways. The offensive line, we have a bunch of return starters. I think 80% of the offensive line is going to be basically the same from last year, but now we kind of got some guys back and healthy. But they're going against a defensive line that has a bunch of new guys there, okay? And a bunch of guys to look out for. I mean, Devon Hamilton didn't really have him in full form last year, but he is back, so he's the guy that's going to be really an anchor on the interior of the Jaguars offensive line. Of course, the Jaguars drafted defensive lineman Mason Smith in the second round and also drafted defensive lineman Jordan Jefferson in the fourth round, both players out of Alabama. It's always interesting to see, rookies going out there and competing. Also, Travis Gibson is in line to be the Jaguars' third edge rusher. So he's a guy that's going to get a lot of opportunity to get after it this season when it comes to actually getting sacks for the Jaguars. That's a position that the Jaguars heavily missed last year, was really having a good third edge rusher. And now Travis Gibson will be getting that opportunity. So he's an under-the-radar guy that we'll definitely be looking out for. Also, Arik Armstead, he's not fully healthy right now, but of course, once he gets into the rotation, it'll be fun to see him. The Jaguars spent a lot of money on him. And look, Trayvon Walker, look, Trayvon Walker is in his third year as an NFL pro. He looks like to be in great shape. Took a real jump from year one to year two. Now this is the year. This is a big time year to see. A lot of times when you draft these projects, you give them a year or two to develop, and then really year three is when you want to start seeing them hit it big. And we're gonna hope that Trayvon Walker really looks excellent and not only gets double-digit sacks, but gets up to 13, 14, 15 sacks, is consistent at getting pressure on the quarterback, and even frees up Josh Allen a little bit as well to allow him to get more sacks as well. So all that is really, really cool to see, and hopefully he becomes even better. And even Miles Cole. Look, Miles Cole, drafted in the 7th round for the Jaguars. He is another one of those traits guys, huge wingspan. Maybe he doesn't make the roster, but at the end of the day, I'll be looking forward to seeing him in the fourth quarter of each of these preseason games, trying to get after it. Really, some things I'm excited about. I really am excited about Ryan Nielsen, and I feel like really for this training camp is all about putting a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Like I feel, I was listening to one of Tommy Mack's podcasts, and he kind of talked about how he was talking to Patrick Kerwin, and I think it was Tommy Mack that said this, but he was talking to Patrick Kerwin about, like, hey, man, is this y'all's practice? Like, the Steelers are out there doing crazy things, hitting each other and all this, and, this is kind of, I'm paraphrasing here and honestly using different words, but maybe like country club. And obviously vibes were different last year, and vibes have been really different all throughout the last couple of years for different reasons. But, I think last year we were feeling really good about ourselves. We just got off of a playoff run, undefeated in the preseason. Everything was trending up, and then all of a sudden the regular season got here, and the offense never truly clicked. So I think that the Jaguars and Ryan Nielsen are going to do a lot of work when it comes to really trying to put a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence and really making him grow through training camp. And, if we look back against the Falcons last year, we may have beaten them by double digits, but the Jaguars offense only got one touchdown, a deep pass to Calvin Ridley. So the Jaguars really struggled against this defense. And, there are certain types of defenses that Trevor Lawrence does struggle against. So this training camp is all about, okay, it's year 4, Trevor. You got your money, Trevor. Now let's execute and take this to the next level and let you get through all your growing pains and, make all your mistakes now so you can really learn and grow from it. And then, boom, once the regular season gets here, you can hit it hard. Because I know this is a cliche that I hear. Like, I feel like every draft season, pressure makes diamonds. You know what I mean? But that's really the situation here with Trevor Lawrence. Put a lot of pressure on him, give him a lot of weird looks, and, make this defense challenging for him so he can grow from it. So that's really the main thing that I want to see. Now, some other Jaguar news is that, look, Cam Little is now officially our kicker, okay? Riley Patterson, which, by the way, Jaguars legend, one of the most important kicks in Jaguars history came off of the right foot of Riley Patterson when he defeated the Chargers in the 2022 wildcard round of the playoffs. Riley Patterson has been cut, so it is now Cam Little's job, and he's been doing really good at training camps, nailing some 50-plus yarders. Got a little swag to him, too. So, hopefully with that one, we drafted our kicker, and hopefully he's the kicker here for a long, long time. And Jaguars also have 2 players in the top 100. Trevor Lawrence came in at number 94. Josh Hines-Allen at number 35. Now, Trevor at 94, it's whatever. I first of all, I don't get too up in arms about these lists, but, he's at number 94. And look, right now, he's in improvement mode. Look, when it comes to production, it probably necessarily hasn't really been there, even though like Jordan Love was in like the 30s. But still, the production may not have been there. But look, it's all about not what have you done so far. It's like, what can you be? Okay, so prove to everybody that you're a great top 5, top 10 quarterback. Go make the playoffs. Go make a little bit of a run. Have some really fun battles. 2 battles this year against C.J. Stroud. Hopefully 2 battles against Anthony Richardson if the man can stay healthy, and then 2 against Mayo Boy. And really, your whole schedule is lined out with a bunch of tough games. Got a couple of prime timers as well. So you're gonna have the opportunity to showcase yourself in front of a lot of people, and it's up to Press Taylor and Doug Peterson to design an offense to really play to this team's strengths. It's up to these players to stay healthy. Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis to catch your balls, Tank Bigsby hold on to the ball. It's going to take a lot of things to go right, But at the end of the day, Trevor Lawrence is the captain of this offense, so it's all about him to really move this thing forward. And I'm curious, guys, how are you guys feeling about this season? I feel like this season, I don't know, it's just kind of like weird vibes, and maybe because there's not really many things like when we kick it all the way back. Look, 2020 offseason, we knew we were gonna suck. We did suck, but it earned us number one pick. We got Trevor Lawrence. So 2021, Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, so much hype. Obviously, 3-14 did not do very well. In the next offseason, it's like, all right, refresh. We got a Super Bowl head coach in Doug Peterson. That was fun. We made the playoffs. 2023, we're only going to go up, and then we kind of went down. And then now we're kind of in a situation where Jaguars spent some money, but really the nuts and bolts of this team have been here. So I'm almost in like a wait and see mode. Okay, my expectations for this team are honestly middle tier right now, like 9-8. Go 9 and like I'm expecting 9-8 and surprise me to do better. Obviously, I think 9-8 is a failure for me. For me, this team is definitely like playoffs or bust. This team is definitely like win a playoff game or bust. But I'm kind of neutral right now. So I'm wanting this team to really go out there, have a tough training camp, and it feels like it's been a tough training camp. A lot of guys are taking this thing seriously, especially on offense. I mean, Christian Kirk really seems like he's locked in, and a bunch of other players, Evan Ingram. So I'm just hoping for great things, and this football season is just about here. I think we're like 5 or so weeks away from the regular season getting started, and we're going to keep you guys entertained right here on this channel. And of course, tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Club Jaguar with myself, Jordan DeLugo, and Jason from Jaguars United. So hope you guys catch me there. And if you guys appreciate the coverage, please drop me a like. It helps out a ton for this channel. And let's hit it big this year, guys. 2024 is the year of the Jaguars. With all that said, thank you guys for watching, and go Jags.